What's up, YouTube? Appropriate Mike here with Appropriate Gaming, and today we have a deck list for you for Chaos Piper. We have Appropriate David, who's about to show it off and tell us what he thinks and why he did it. David, go ahead.
All right. So first off, I'm not exactly a meta player. Never really have been. I really like the goofy off the wall stuff, and a lot of times that translates into some of these older decks coming alive again in the new meta. Sure, it may not be the best deck out there, but the game's all about really having fun, and this is one of my favorite decks to have fun with because nothing is more entertaining than whooping your opponent's butt with a bunch of level one monsters and their own win condition. For those of you who remember the old school Piper decks. So this is going to be a profile of the main deck mostly. It is in a transitional period of potentially adding in some Numeron stuff. We don't exactly know right now. So the extra deck, we're going to hold off for another video for now, but I'll give you guys some really cool extra deck ideas. And of course, if you guys have any crazy ideas out there, because some of my old Piper players know that this deck is incredibly versatile, especially with today's new cards out. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment box, and we'll test it out and see what we think of it too. So without further ado, let's get into it. Already we know Chaos Piper has to play 3 of the main boy, Mystic Piper. Tribute him, draw a card, reveal it. If it's a level 1, you get to draw again. Can't get enough value out of it. Probably one of the most funnest cards to ever be created, honestly. Looking good in secret. This one, for the longest time, King of Bayou, a 2 of. I played it as a 3 of for the longest time, and could never go down less than 3. But truth be told, ever since I started playing it at 2, I really can't get enough of it as a 2 of. I really don't like it as a 3 of, and honestly, 1, that's never enough. King of Bayou, you normal summon, special summon a level 1 from the graveyard. Typically, you're going to reoccur your Mystic Piper to get off another effect. Get some more draws, some more cards in your hand. This deck is one of those really stun-style stall decks. So, of course, Battle Fader, being a level 1, puts you a level 1 body on board if your opponent attacks. Gets you some, nets you some pluses, too, off of Where Art Thou. It's just great value, especially in a Piper deck. No other deck, in my opinion, plays this card as well as Mystic Piper. Same could be said about Ghost Trick Jack Frost. Level 1, stops some attacks, does some really good stuff. The next card, Jester Confit. Probably one of those cards that was slept on for the longest period of time. But in this deck, once again, gets amazing value. You literally special summon it for no reason. You get a Link Haribo out of it. You get a level 1 body on board for your Where Art Thou plays. He does a lot of amazing stuff. At the very least, you're making a Link Haribo, which, let's face it, in today's game can be life and death. You get a Dark in the graveyard, so what could be better than that? Another one of those 3 of Effect Veiler. This deck, for the longest time, was probably one of the only decks that could really run 3 Effect Veiler as of like 5 years ago. Of course, nowadays, hand traps are, if you're not playing hand traps, you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh anymore, but still. Easy light, dump it to the graveyard. It's also a level 1 tuner, which does some really cool stuff for the deck as far as like Formula Synchron goes. Super versatile. Another versatile card we play, 2, DD Crow. Another one of those cards that you can dump to the graveyard. Nets you a lot of disruption for your opponent, especially with all the graveyard shenanigans that goes on today in Yu-Gi-Oh! Excellent dark target. Does some pretty fun stuff. One of the newer cards that really pushed this deck over the top, Eater of Millions. And really easy card to summon in this deck, and just really funny removal, especially when you have one of those cards that are just really tricky to get around. Avra Max. We have a player in our group that loves Chaos Max Dragon, and Eater of Millions just gets around that really easy. And that's it for the level 1 monsters. And once again, this deck is so versatile that you can play. There are several engines that you can play. There are a lot of different level 1 monsters out there that work really well with this deck. I was really enjoying the Blue Eyes Maiden build. 2 Maidens with Eyes of Blue and a Blue Eyes. Your opponent has to really kind of think to get around it. It's really up to you what you want to do. And this is after our new support from the Toon Chaos. And I really liked some of the stuff that we were given in there. So for our Chaos boss monsters, 3 Blackluster Soldier, Envoy of the Beginnings. You guys, you can't get much better than this guy. Super easy to summon. You drop one light, one dark. You have spot removal, you have aggression, you have everything you need right there. And plus, let's face it, it's an attractive card. And of course, our last Chaos boss monster, the one Chaos Creator. I play one Chaos Creator simply for the fact this is a mid to late game style deck. You're not going to want to spam this card out. You're going to want to control the board, do some stuff, then pop this guy out late game if you even have to. Other good cards for this in this slot, Chaos Sorcerer is a good one. You could even throw in a Chaos Dragon Levianeer. I've tried Chaos Dragon Levianeer. I didn't really like it too much just because that's a lot of cards to banish. But I'm different than you. You might decide to play something else, and that's okay. That's the beauty of Chaos Piper, or really any Chaos deck for that matter, is it is so versatile in how you want to play it. And that's it for the monsters. Let's move on to the spells. The best search card for the deck, Where Art Thou? If you control a level 1 monster, you can search a level 1 monster. Real simple. Of course, if you don't normal summon it or a monster with the same name, you're taking 2,000 points of damage, but sometimes that doesn't really matter. One of the best cards that Chaos Piper is known for, Creature Swap, 2 of. Nothing's more fun than using your opponent's own win condition against you, especially when you give them a Kinkabayu and you take their boss monster and you end. You're going to get your Kinkabayu back because that is a spirit monster. Can't get better than Creature Swap. You can play it as a 3 of. I've been testing it at 2. I really like it as a 2. 2 of. 3 nowadays to me gets a little cloggy, but like I said, you're going to be different than me. And one of the new cards, 2 of Chaos Space. Your boss monsters are now searchable and readily available. And nothing is cooler than searching a Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning off of this bad boy by pitching off one of your lonely level 1 dark monsters. Really easy to get, gets you some draws too. You can add one back to the graveyard, draw a card, or back to your deck and draw a card. Really, really good pluses. I don't play 3. 3 was extremely cloggy. Once again, this is a late game deck. I'm not exactly crying if I don't see that BLS first turn. Some good utility cards, Twin Twisters. This deck does die to some back row, unfortunately, so I do need that removal. Twin Twisters, to me, is like one of the best removals I can have because, let's face it, I can discard. I get some lighter darks and grave, and 2 spell and traps, definitely good for me. 1 ofs, 1 for 1, super nice. Got to get that Chaos, that Mystic Piper on deck. 1 of Monster Reborn. It never hurts to reborn that BLS or whatever else you need. Raigeki, because nowadays Raigeki does come in handy sometimes. This is one of those controversial slots that can be replaced with something better value, maybe than Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion's always a great target. Scapegoat, because Scapegoat is always good. It doesn't matter what deck you're playing, Scapegoat's awesome. And for the final 2 cards, we're going to go into our trap slots. One of the best cards of the deck, evenly matched. Nothing is more entertaining than setting this card on your first turn and nothing else and passing and letting your opponent go heavenly nuts. And then before you know it, everything's getting knocked down to 1. Probably one of the better trap cards in my opinion. And this is one of those slots too that once again, you can put in whatever you need, whatever you find better. I was even testing a Magical Cylinder for the longest time with some relative success because sometimes the deck does have trouble getting in that final little bit of damage. And even though Magic Cylinder is one of those sacky cards, it was actually putting in work in this deck. And that's it for the main deck, guys. We're going to go ahead and put this away, and I'll show you some pretty cool extra deck options that we can play. Like I said, the extra deck is a little bit incomplete at the moment. We are still messing around with some ideas. Of course, one of those main deck cards, Formula Synchron, can't go wrong with that. Nets you a draw. And we can't draw enough cards on this deck, right? Best card for this deck that ever came out, probably, with the exception of some of the new Chaos support, Link Karibo. We make the card super easy. We can reoccur it super easy. This is one of those that I was actually playing 2 of and not regretting it at all. Another best one that I think, Ghost Trick Dualahan. We can reoccur Ghost Trick monsters. It's a decent utility, can't go wrong. Utopia Roots, Utopia effect for level 1 monsters, can't go wrong with that either. And there's a lot more rank 1 monsters out there. There's a lot other Link monsters that you can play in this deck too. Don't forget that we do play that Scapegoat. A lot of cool things we can do with that. But as this extra deck evolves, and as I decide what I really want to play with this deck, we'll get it updated and get it into the eyes for you guys, so you guys can see what's going on with it. Maybe we'll try out the Numeron stuff. Maybe we'll try out some spicy Raid Raptor stuff. I don't know yet. But for now, we'll call it quits right here. Don't forget to hit that like button. Comment down below what you guys think of the profile. Send some ideas our way, whether it's related to the deck or not. Send some ideas and hit that subscribe button for sure. And stay tuned for future content as well as some spicy giveaways. All right, we're out.